So big question for you. Before you're a rookie, and this is just because I'm a huge fan, and I know a lot of people listen will be, who was, when you first came in the league, who was the player you looked up to the most?
I was really lucky because the day I got drafted, the first message I got was from Peyton Manning. And Peyton was the ultimate professional and the ultimate leader. Like, he didn't act like he was making any more money than the practice squad guy. He talked to the janitor just like he talked to his fucking star number one receiver. He talked to everybody the same and treated everybody the same and got to know everybody on that team. And he didn't treat himself. He never acted like he was special or that motherfucker was the first one in the building and the last one to leave. And when he was there, he was engaging with everybody. He used to have breakfast with me every morning because he knew that, like, I need my defense and the guys on the defense to fucking, shut their run game down so that they can't control the clock. So he just would, like, talk to you about shit, man. Like, anytime I, like, fucked up and made a mistake, like, it didn't matter about on the field. It was about, like, off the field dumb shit that I would do. He'd be like, hey, man, like, I get it. But just so you know, man, like, you have potential to be a really good player in this league. So don't fuck it up. And I'm like,
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
And he would say shit like that to you. And it was just like, fuck, man. And then after that, it was DeMarcus Ware. Once DeMarcus Ware joined the team, he took my game to a whole nother level. And then I had a really good coach come in, Bill Kolar, who coached JJ Watt and plethora of fucking Hall of Fame guys. And he played 10 years himself. But he just pushed me so fucking hard and was like, brought the best out of me. So it just is like, man, it takes, like, it's a bunch of different guys. But for when I first came in, man, it was Peyton. That's who I was like, that's the fucking guy. Elvis Doomerville was another guy. I don't know if you know that name. Sure do. But Doom is like, we had the same defensive line coach in college. So, like, we had that kind of connection. And he just saw the dog in me and was like, yep, I like this fucking guy. And because when I got drafted there, I was third string. And by game one, I had taken both of their fucking spots.
That's all. I love hearing that. So now you're in the league, and I'm going to tell you again, no secret, Pats fan, and I used to hate seeing you and fucking Von Miller is all I'm going to say right now. Because there was a run going on there, and to me as a fan, the only thing I ever feared with the Pats was going into Denver and that defense, and of course when Peyton was there, it's like, this is. Every other game, I just felt we could win. Yeah. I just was like, we can win this. And it's funny, Amanda, she's the biggest Pats fan on earth. She doesn't like Peyton Manning, not because she doesn't like Peyton Manning, because she fucking knows he could beat us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just that relationship there. But so now coming out of the back end, when you look back in, who was the guy you most liked being next to on the field? I mean, and I mean in a, like, that fucking person you just looked at, it's like, let's go be assassins.
It was Vaughn.
It was Vaughn.
Yeah. I mean, me and Vaughn, we did it for 8 years together next to each other. We had 136 sacks together in the regular season.
Okay. I was making an assumption it was, but I just wanted to hear it. So
and it was what you said there about how we had a nonverbal communication where we had a game system that we ran on tackles and guards. Anywhere from where I would shoot that B. If you don't know with football, but there's a B gap in between the guard and tackle. I would shoot that B gap and fucking drive up field and push the tackle up and pick off of it. And then Vaughn would wrap around me and we would fuck him up that way. And then I would fake like we were going to do that, give the tackle a little tug on the shoulder pad and spin back inside. And Vaughn would just whoop right around him. Then we would do another one where I would act like I was doing an inside move, bring the guard down. Vaughn would come in there and just fucking hammer the guard and ricochet off of him, and I'd wrap around and cover him. Then we had another one called the bar where I just like occupied the guard and let Vaughn do his thing. And then I covered him if he missed. Like that. And we did that. But it was all based on hand signals and just like, and it was all because we knew when the slide was coming to us. And when I say the slide, I know that there's going to be, instead of 2 guys blocking, it's going to be 3 guys. And a lot of times they would use 4 and we would still get them because they would use a running back or a tight end to chip him and the tackle, a guard, and a center. And then sometimes the running back would even slide up in there and try to stop us. So they'd use like 4 or 5 guys to try to get us. And that means DeMarcus Ware and Malik Jackson are going to win if you guys do that dumb shit. So
right.
it was like they couldn't stop us. But it was, man. And we would look at each other because we would hear the mic call from the center. He's calling out where he's sliding. He has to, because it's loud as fuck and he's screaming, you know, where he's sliding to, so that the other guys know that they got the one-on-ones. Me and him know we got a one-on-one. We know what we've done the last couple times. We know what we're doing now. And we would go, and because they're looking at us, like waiting for us to show them what we're going to do. And I would just look at him and he'd be like, yep. And I'm like, all right, I know exactly what the fuck we're doing here. And it was just crazy how we could feed it. But that takes so much time and repetition. And because we're doing that every day in practice, we're doing that every day. Every day in like meetings, we're talking about it. Hey, when we see the right tackle's right heel up higher, you really see it up. It's like a half an inch. You could see it. We're running this game. So whenever I see it, I'm looking at you, and that's what we're doing. And we fucked them up in the Super Bowl because we had a read on their right tackle. And Vaughn went out there, got the MVP.
That's awesome.
And I love it. I told him, I said, you're going to get the MVP on this fucking guy. And he was like, I know, dude, I'm fucking
eat him alive.
I'm going to eat him alive, dude. He just went crazy because we knew.
So was that Super Bowl win the most rewarding moment ever on the field, or was there something else?
Yeah, because, well, there's a couple. When it comes to rewarding, it's different. A lot of people never get to live their dream, right? 99.9% of people don't get like what they say they're going to do when they're 7 years old. They don't go and do it. It's just, life, genetics, all this other stuff happens. Like it doesn't happen, or you just quit, For me, when I was 7 years old, I watched Reggie White and the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre win a fucking Super Bowl. And Reggie White was running around with a Lombardi trophy, and he had the Super Bowl hat on, and he had his t-shirt, his Super Bowl championship t-shirt over his pads. And he was like walking around with doing that. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That sparked it for me. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And I just chased that, dude. And I got to do it. Like there's a fucking picture of me with my pads on and the shirt over with the hat on, holding the Lombardi up. Like I got to do it. I did it. It's like, it was so surreal. Because I was like, holy fuck, like this was really what the whole dream was. Like all the other shit didn't really matter. The money, none of that. It was this moment. But another moment was in 2019, after my daughter was born, getting to like be in my pads and like hold my daughter on the field and her like be there with me. It was, you want to talk about like pulling the power of fucking God out of you. Like, I was taking tackles and guards and fucking just burying them into the quarterback. It was so crazy. I felt so strong, and like I had to like, I don't know, it was weird. It was a weird feeling. And that was like super rewarding for me to come out of that game. Like I got their fucking quarterback benched, and
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it was that was another moment. It's just a different, rewarding moment. But winning that Super Bowl, man, there's nothing that compares. There is no comparison to that. Like there's things that are different from that, like the birth of children and all this other stuff. But to reach the goal that you set as a child, and you think of, and when I think about it now, man, I think about all the days that I wanted to fucking quit and I didn't, all the days where I was like, man, I'd rather go party with my boys and go hang out and do this and that. Nope. I got to get up and train, and that's carried me on to life now. Like last night, bunch of guys wanted to go out and have fun. I was like, no, man, I got to work out in the morning. Like I'm going back and going to get some sleep so I can like, be a part of the team and not be a fucking drag on the team. And that's important to me.
You brought it this morning. I love it.